Many years ago, in a small town where opportunity was scarce, there lived a young girl named Tolu. Tolu was full of dreams and hope. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Wonola, worked hard to send her to the university, and Tolu promised herself she wouldn't let them down. However, she got admission at the University of Ibadan to study mass communications. Tolu was determined to graduate with good grades and make a good life for herself and family. She was beautiful, intelligent, and that made people admire her so much. In her first year in school, Tolu balanced her studies with a part-time job to support herself. She avoided distractions and focused on her goals. This made her earn the respect of her classmates and lecturers. She also made friends with Bola, Tokwe, and Temi, who admire her, but life changed in the second year when Tolu met Olamide, a final year student who swept her off her feet. He was charming, confident, and he seemed to understand her struggles. Tolu, who had never been in a relationship before, found herself falling deeply in love with him. In that time, they started dating, and for a while, Tolu was happier than ever. Olamide often told her, "Babe, you are different unlike most girls in this school. You are smart and beautiful, and I see a bright future for us." With the way he spoke softly to her, she believed him. However, things changed drastically when Tolu missed her period. At first, she thought it was stress, but as the days turned into weeks, she became anxious. With so much research on her part, she decided to conduct a pregnancy test, and it confirmed her fears. Tolu was pregnant. Tolu became devastated, but then she told her boyfriend, Olamide, hoping to get his support. Instead, his reaction crushed her. "This is not my problem. Don't you know the normal thing girls do? See, you are on your own, no," he said. She begged him to reconsider, but Olamide blocked her number, packed out of his apartment, and he also avoided her on campus. Alone and heartbroken, Tolu didn't know what to do. Her friends noticed her withdrawal and pressed her for answer. One evening, as they sat in Bola's room, Tolu broke down in tears. She told them everything. "I don't know what to do," she sobbed. "My parents will be very disappointed in me. I can't raise a child on my own." Bola hugged her tightly. "You are not alone, Tolu. We are here for you." Temi, on the other hand, nodded in support. "This is tough, but you are stronger than you think. You can do this, my friend." Tokwe added, "We will help you no matter what." The girl's support gave Tolu the courage to make a decision to keep the baby. Tolu continued her studies while pregnant, but it wasn't an easy one. The months during Tolu's pregnancy were some of the hardest she had ever faced in her life. As her belly grew, so did the whispers around. Most people who once admired her began to avoid her. Some whispered behind her back, while others rendered unsolicited advice, making her feel worse. "Tolu, I hear you got pregnant out of wedlock. Is it true?" a classmate asked her one day, her tone dripping with judgment. Tolu forced a smile. "Yes, it is true, but I am still here and I'm not giving up," Tolu said. However, one thing was certain. Her friends stood by her side. They helped her with schoolwork and attending antenatal appointments, but clearly, they couldn't shield her from the harsh words and eyes of her classmates. On some nights, Tolu cried herself to sleep. She was overwhelmed by the weight of her responsibilities. "I am scared though," she admitted one night. "What if I can't do this? What if I fail in school?" "You won't fail," Bola said firmly. "You are stronger than you think, and we are here for you no matter what." Bola said when the time came for Tolu to give birth, it was Bola who held her hand in the delivery room. The moment Tolu heard her baby's first cry, she burst into tears. She couldn't believe she would make it this far. "She is beautiful," Bola said, handing the baby to Tolu. Bola, Tokwe, and Temi were excited for their friend. They quickly pooled money together to get baby items for Tolu's newborn baby. They also ensured to give her some amount of money to keep herself going for the meantime. Tolu had always been close to her parents, but ever since she got pregnant, she avoided going back home for holidays. Whenever her parents called her to come visit home, she would make up excuses, all to avoid the anger of her parents. Mr. and Mrs. Wonola were hardworking and humble people who had sacrificed so much to send their only daughter to school. Tolu couldn't shake off the thoughts of being a disappointment to her parents. One evening, after putting Ola to sleep, Tolu sat in Bola's room, her face clouded with worry. Bola could tell something was bothering her. "What is wrong, Tolu?" Bola asked. "I haven't told my parents about Ola," Tolu admitted. "I am scared of how they will react. They worked so hard for me to be here, and now I have let them down." Bola said, "Tolu, they are your parents. They might be disappointed at first, but they will come around. To be fair, they deserve to know the truth." But Tolu was adamant. "What if they disown me? What if they never forgive me?" Tolu asked. "They love you, Tolu," Bola said firmly. "It is better for them to hear it from you than from someone else. Trust me, hiding this will only make things worse." With these words, Tolu took the bold step to inform her parents. Mr. and Mrs. Wonola were disappointed at first, but they couldn't stay angry with their only child for so long, so they forgave Tolu, giving her strict warning to avoid men henceforth. However, life as a single mother was tough. Balancing school and motherhood left Tolu exhausted. She often stayed up late at night, studying while Ola slept. With a newborn to care for, Tolu had to find a way to make extra money while finishing her studies. Her friends suggested she start a makeup business, but Tolu was hesitant. "Who will patronize me? I am just a student," she said. "Everyone loves your makeup," Tope said. "Start with us, we will spread the good words." With so much encouragement from her friends, Tolu used the money her friends contributed for her to buy basic makeup products. She brought makeup brush, palettes, and lipsticks. She started using her friends as models. Then she proceeded to open an online account where she posted the pictures of her work to everyone's surprise. Her first client was a bride-to-be. Tolu was nervous, but she poured her heart into the job. When the bride saw herself on the mirror, she beamed with joy. "You are amazing," she said. "Don't worry, I will recommend you to everyone I know." Words quickly spread, and Tolu's business grew. She juggled her studies and her business, and caring for Ola, her daughter. Some days were harder than others, but every time she looked at her daughter, she reminded herself why she was working so hard. And in a few months, Tolu was earning enough to support herself and Ola comfortably. After graduation, she moved into a better apartment and enrolled Ola in a good school. Her daughter was her pride and joy. Tolu worked hard to give her the best of life. At school, Ola's classmates often talk about their fathers. One day, a boy asked her, "Why don't you ever talk about your dad?" "I just don't have one," she replied innocently. That night, she asked Tolu, "Mommy, why don't I have a daddy like the other kids in school?" Tolu froze. Then she knelt down and took Ola's hand. "You have me, my love. I will always be here for you, okay?" Ola nodded innocently. "Okay, mommy." As Tolu's success grew, men of different caliber began approaching her. Some admired her beauty, while others were drawn to her independence. But Tolu had no interest in any one of them. Instead, she would ignore them whenever they approached her. "Tolu, you need a man. This is the third man that has approached you in less than 20 minutes today, but you never returned your pleasantries. I know you were hurt badly, but every man is not like Olamide. Give someone a chance to love you," Bola said with so much concern in her eyes. Tolu wasn't convinced. Her past experience had left her very bitter, and it is a big no for her. "Men should avoid me, please," she busted out. One fateful day, at a business networking event scheduled for young African entrepreneurs, Tolu met Bolaji, a young entrepreneur. He was different from the men she had met before. He was polite, humble, and genuinely interested in her work. They exchanged numbers, and Bolaji began calling her regularly. Bolaji had grown up into a loving and humble man. He was from a loving home, and his parents had taught him the value of hard work and kindness. Bolaji carried those lessons into his adulthood. As a young entrepreneur, Bolaji had faced his own struggles. He knew what it meant to fail, to start over, and to fight for a dream. When he met Tolu at the business event, he was drawn to her resilience and determination. "She's not like anyone I have ever met," he thought. His best friend said, "Sounds like you're already in love." Tola teased Bolaji. Bolaji laughed. "Maybe I am," Bolaji said. Bolaji's interest in Tolu wasn't just about her beauty. He admired her independence and her strength. Over time, he fell in love with the person she was. He never pressured Tolu, and always he respected her boundaries. In no time, Tolu found herself looking forward to his call. Bolaji eventually asked her out, and Tolu hesitated. "I'm not sure I'm ready for a relationship," she said. "I understand," Bolaji replied. "Take your time." His patience won her over, and they started dating. Bolaji treated her with kindness and respect, and Tolu began to trust him. While Tolu loved Bolaji, she was terrified of telling him about Ola, her daughter. She feared he would leave her, just like Olamide did. And whenever Bolaji visited, Tolu would send Ola to Bola's house. She also told her daughter not to call her mommy in front of Bolaji. "Why, mommy?" Ola asked, looking confused. "Please, my love," Tolu pleaded. "I will explain to you later." Ola reluctantly agreed, but the arrangement made her feel hot and distant from her mother. Tolu also convinced Bola to pretend Ola was her child. "Bola, you are the only one I trust," said Tolu with a pleading eyes. Bola agreed, though she felt uneasy about the lie. Tolu's marriage to Bolaji marked the beginning of a new chapter in her life. Despite the secrets she carried, Bolaji gave her nothing but love and romance. From the very first morning after their marriage, Bolaji showered her with love and affection. He woke her up with breakfast in bed, a simple tray of toast, eggs, and tea, with a note that read, "Good morning to the most beautiful woman in my life." Tolu laughed when she read it, and then she said, "Babe, you spoil me too much." "You deserve it," Bolaji replied, kissing her forehead. Bolaji made it a point to spend quality time with Tolu. Despite his busy schedule, they went on movie nights together where they laughed and shared popcorn. Bolaji made it a routine to remind his wife how much he loved and adored her, and for a while, they had a happy home. One evening, Bolaji came home early. He had planned to surprise Tolu with a car gift and flowers. As he approached their bedroom, he overheard Tolu and Bola arguing. "You are being unfair to your child. That girl needs her mother's love. I am tired of these lies. You need to tell your husband the truth," Bola said. "He loves you, and he deserves to know the truth." "Bola, what if he doesn't love me anymore? Please, I will tell him when the time is right. I can't afford to lose my husband," Tolu replied, her voice shaking in fear. Bolaji stood frozen, his heart pounding. When he opened the door, both women turned to face him, with guilt written on their faces. "What is going on here?" he asked. Tolu broke down and told him everything. She begged for his forgiveness, explaining how scared she had been. Bolaji sat silently after Tolu's confession. The weight of her words hung heavy in the room. Tolu's tears flowed freely, and she reached for his hands. "Bolaji, I was scared," she said, her voice trembling. "I thought I would lose you if you knew about Ola. I'm sorry, my husband." Bolaji looked at her. His expression was a mixture of hurt and confusion. "You didn't trust me enough to tell me the truth?" he asked.